What did I tell everybody? What did I tell everybody? I said that you have to wait until the game is over. I understand the frustration. We'll talk all about it, okay? But the bottom line is that the Phillies won this series and they kicked the Mets in the butt. That's exactly what happened. The Mets got their butts kicked, and the Phillies took advantage of it, and that's how they won the series. Okay, before we go any further, I just want to remind you guys, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. This is the post-series pod, the Phillies post-series pod, that is, with me, JJ. Thank you all so much for coming on here. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. And if you want to come on here and give your thoughts about this series, please make sure that you click that Discord server link down below. It's in the description area. Come on here. We already have one person waiting, and we will get to their thoughts in just a little bit. So if you want to give your thoughts, please be sure to do that. So let's start in order, shall we? So Friday's game, the Mets just blew it up. That's just what happened. Brandon Nimmo starts off. It's an error out in center field. He should have made a nice catch. He didn't make the catch, right? And so the Phillies get 2 runs out of it. And then they just took advantage of the Mets' pitching and defensive woes, and the Phillies won the game. That's exactly what happened, and that's how Friday worked out. Saturday, a totally different story. Christopher Sanchez wasn't his best. Max Scherzer wasn't really at his. Max Scherzer pitched all right. The Phillies just left so many runners on base. They left 8 runners on base, and they should have had so many opportunities to score, and they didn't. And that was a game for them to just take by the horn, and they didn't do so. This game right here, this was just a meltdown. Let's be completely honest with ourselves. The Mets shot themselves in the foot. There's just no denying it whatsoever. This was probably one of their biggest collapses that they've had this season. But I've heard from so many different people within the Mets, within so many different parts of the Mets organization and that type of thing, that the bullpen just continues to not produce at a very high level. And the Phillies were actually patient enough to just get on base. So you kind of have to give them a little bit of credit from that perspective, because they were getting on with walks. Because we've seen Bryce Harper, we've seen guys chase after pitches out of the strike zone. JT today, a perfect example. Bases loaded, okay, 1 out, he strikes out. It was a big strikeout. He's chasing after sliders that are low and away, and you can't have that happen. So do give the Phillies a little bit of credit from that sense. Other than that, though, Starling Marte's making errors out in right field. He can't field fly balls, and he's having a hard time of figuring out where the ball is going to land and that type of thing. The Phillies, they just capitalized on what the Mets gave them, and they won the game. The bottom line is that they won the game, they won the series, and the Mets haven't even won a series since they last beat the Phillies and took that series. They beat this team, and that's all I can ask for. This whole homestand, though, was putrid. It was absolutely awful. You lose 2 games to the Braves that you really should have won, and you come back to your home crowd. These are big division rivals that you're facing, and I expected there to be more of... I expected there to just be more energy from just the offense, period. I'm starting to get a little bit concerned about the bats. I'm being completely honest with you guys. I'm not sugarcoating anything. Kyle Schwarber has been struggling, even though he does get on base some of the time. He may hit just some leadoff home runs, but something's not clicking. Brandon Marsh is doing really well, and that's been a very good sign. He did a very good job during this whole entire homestand, and I was really happy about that. But just as a unit, they keep leaving runners on base, and the pitching is actually keeping them involved in games. And that's the bottom line. That's what I took away from this series. This pitching can keep you involved with games, but the offense just continues to just come up small. The Mets, they had a collapse. That's what happened. There's no denying that that's what happened. Phillies did take advantage of it, though. And Craig Kimbrell came in to close the door in that 9th inning. And that was definitely such an awesome sight to see. So I look at this from a glass half full, glass half empty sort of experience. And when I look at this, when I look at this Phillies team, I'm just really proud that they were able to grind out at bats and that they were able to do a really good job at just cashing in when the moment really did matter. And eventually I want to get to you guys, but the one other thing I wanted to talk about really quickly was Rob Thompson has been getting a lot of heat. And it's not just during this game. It's been throughout this entire series. Not everything has been his fault, but I will say that I think that there was a little bit of a big obsession with a Junior Marte since that outing that he had against Oakland, and that has to stop now. It has to stop now. I was okay with him going with Zach Wheeler for another inning of work today. I thought that was fine because you're using the bullpen a lot. But Saturday, with the way that he managed, he could have done a lot better. There's no denying that. You just can't go to Junior Marte anymore. He's just not reliable. And Rob is a player's coach, and I understood what he was trying to do. He's just not that guy. It is nice in hindsight, I'd say, or just from an overall perspective, that you have a guy that can throw 100 miles per hour. But it's all about control. Chapman can throw 100 miles per hour. Sometimes he gets a little bit shaky. Iglesias the other day gives up 2 homers in the 9th inning. He can throw 100. It doesn't really matter. If you're not having the velocity, if you're not locating your pitches properly, you're going to get canned. And teams are going to find that. And you have to be willing to be able to figure that out. And just Junior Marte is not that guy. But the Mets are... The Mets played so bad in that 8th inning. And the Phillies took advantage of it. Their defense, I thought that the Phillies' defense was putrid. The Mets' defense is really just disgusting. I can't believe it. I can't believe that the Phillies won. But I told you guys, I literally even said this during my live stream when I was doing play-by-play. And yes, at some points, I was kind of getting a little bit frustrated on the inside. But I can't just, let out my anger or do anything like that because, I got to keep it real. But I also knew, and I was literally sticking true to myself when I said this. You have to play all 27 outs because the Mets bullpen, I know, has not been the best this season. They just haven't. Really, it's just been such a bad season for the Mets. And they're turning back into their old colors. Phillies, they took what the Mets gave them. The Phillies should definitely say thank you. But that's how I feel. And I'm overall happy that they got the series win. Because that can't go unnoticed either. 2-3 is a whole lot better than 1-4. There's no excuse why they should have lost to this Mets team. All right. With that, look, we're going to go to the phones because I know that a lot of people want to come on here and voice their opinion about things, and I want to get to you guys. We have 4 people already in the audience. So, if you guys want to come on, please make sure that you hit that Discord server link down below. I really would love to hear your thoughts. There's so much that we can talk about. There's a lot that I really didn't get to. I just kind of wanted to cut to the chase, give my opening monologue, and say how I really felt about just coming out of the series. But just from an overall perspective, they did not put up a good homestand, but they at least won the series. And that matters. You have to win these games. I don't care how you do it, you got to win. And they got their 40th one. So let's go to the phones. We got Snowman Multimedia. He's going to be up first. What's up, Snowman? How you doing? You're on play-by-play with JJ.
What's going on, JJ? How are you, partner?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing good. You mentioned two key things. One, runners left on base.
Yep.
That doesn't win you ball games at all. You could have the best offense in the majors. I'm looking at you, Texas Rangers. But if you leave men on base, you're going to get burned. And one of these, the one they lost against the Mets this past weekend, how did they get burned? They left men on base. You cannot expect to compete and leave men in scoring position. And I'm looking at my White Sox also, which is why their season is going to be a climb and a half to get out of that. They keep leaving runners on base. The second thing is, and you've made this so abundantly true, and I say it all the time on my show. You can throw 200 miles an hour. Where are you putting your pitches?
Yep. Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
two of the greatest closers of all time, Dan Quisenberry and Mariano Rivera. I can't believe I'm still saying the late Dan Quisenberry
Yep.
and Mariano Rivera got by with locating their pitches. Hell, Mariano Rivera only had one pitch for 20 years, and that was
Yep.
his cutter. But he kept putting it in the right place. And with this Philadelphia team, not only do I see a problem with them leaving runners on bases, I see a big problem looming with their relief pitching staff. Because it's one thing, and I've said this to so many other fans of other teams, and I've had it said to me, and it's so true. You can have the best starting staff in the majors, it'll get you innings 1 through 6. How do you solve 7 through 9?
Yeah, no, that's definitely some interesting points that you bring up here. Snowman, I want to thank you so much for coming on here. Guys, please I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Please make sure that you go subscribe to Snowman Multimedia. He's going to be doing the Mets Brewers game tomorrow night. I expect that we provide him an audience because he's been absolutely incredible, and I'm just really blessed that I've gotten to get to know him, and I'm so thankful that he came on because he also did bring on some really good points. I do kind of disagree a little bit about the bullpen in a sense, but see, this is what happens when you don't have a fifth starting pitcher. You have to use the arms more. And when the bullpen is starting to get tired, right? There's only so much gas that's going to be left in the tank when it comes to September. And it wouldn't shock me if we have another September collapse. And I hate saying this, but hear me out. If we don't get that fifth starting pitcher, and if our starting pitchers that we currently have, like Aaron Nola, is not knowing what type of an outing that he's going to give you, if he only goes like 2 innings and he gives up 6 earned runs, or he goes 7 innings and only gives up 4, those things need to be addressed at the trade deadline. I'm talking to you, Dombrowski. We can't have Junior Marte and guys like that pitching all the time. And there's only so much that Rob can do. This has to be addressed. And I think that he brought a really good point on with that. And the one other thing I want to address, and then we'll get to our next caller, is, of course, runners left on base. It's the name of the game. I was also a little bit disappointed when the Phillies couldn't even get another run with the bases loaded because I expected them to be able to. I really did. I thought that it was really important for them to try to get some insurance runs because what if? What if Craig Kimbrell didn't have his stuff? That could have came back to bite you. That's how I look at it. And am I being a little bit too critical? No, I don't think so. But at the end of the day, they won. They won the series. Okay? And you have to remember that too. Glass half full, glass half empty mindset. Let's get to Larry because Larry's been waiting very patiently. And he was the first one on here. Larry, what's going on? You're on the Phillies series recap pod with JJ.
Hey JJ, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you, man?
All right. My first thing is I'm still very frustrated with the lack of any kind of offensive strategy at
Yeah.
the plate and plate discipline. These guys, the last time they faced Kodai Senga last series against the Mets. Senga had 41 walks in 74 innings. This is a guy who walks a guy every other inning, more than one every other inning. And he struck out 10 Phillies, and we got one walk. And that's not because Kodai Senga suddenly was on top of his game and pitching the best game of his life. It's because they were doing what the Phillies are doing, what they've been doing all year, which is going up and swinging at everything right from the get-go. And the pitchers know they're going to do this, so they throw their out pitch. They throw pitches that break 2 feet off the plate the first couple of pitches to get them to swing and fall behind in the count. I mean, Senga, I remember Trey Turner striking out, swinging at a pitch that bounced 2 feet in front of the plate against Senga, because it seems like every at-bat, every Phillies at-bat, they're behind in the count. It's 0-2, 1-2, 2-2. They've always got two strikes on them, and, because they've swung at pitches outside the zone, they go up there swinging and swinging, and once they're behind, then they get the out pitch. They get the forkball that dives down into the dirt, or the cutter that breaks 3 feet off the plate, and they got to swing because they got to protect the plate with 2 strikes on them. And I'm like, is there nobody coming up with a strategy? Now, this time around, when they faced Senga the other day, the first inning, I thought, okay, they came up with a strategy. They've realized that they're taking pitches. Schwarber went deep in the count. Turner went deep in the count. I don't remember if he got a walk or a hit, but he got on base. I said, okay, they scored 2 runs in the first off Senga. And I said, okay, they've turned it. They figured it out. And then by the second inning, they went right back to 2 and 3 pitch at bats, swing at everything, hit a pop up on the 3rd pitch, strike out on the 4th pitch. And I don't know if it's the hitting coach or somebody, or if they just don't have the discipline. They're telling them what to do. They have a strategy, and they just abandon it because they're up there just hacking away because everybody wants to be the hero and turn the offense around this season. But it's been this way all season long, and I'm wondering if and when it's ever going to change. They have to do this, what they did in the first inning against Senga, throughout the game. Take pitches, get deep into counts. Rhys Hoskins used to routinely lead the majors in pitches seen per at bat. He would take pitches, he would foul off pitches. If he was ahead in the count, he might take a fastball right down the middle. I'd say, what are you looking at? But maybe he was guessing curveball or guessing a different pitch or looking for something in a certain spot that he wanted to hit, and he could take that pitch because he was ahead in the count. Nobody's ever ahead in the count now, and I don't know when it's going to change or when they're going to figure it out.
Honestly, it has been this way all season long. And Larry, thank you so much for coming on here. As always, I really appreciate you for always coming on here, talking to me, and also like being a part of the videos and the live streams that we do. It really has been this way all season long, and the Phillies have gone back to their true colors at times, and it is really frustrating because, while yes, they won the series against the Mets, you can be still unsatisfied with what they showed you. You have every single right to be like that. I don't know if it's a Kevin Long problem when it comes to the hitting stuff. I have no idea. What I do know is that guys are chasing after pitches, and guys are making simple, fundamental mistakes in the field. I didn't even get to talk about Kyle Schwarber's diving attempt and missing that fly ball from Austin Riley. I didn't even get to talk about JT Realmuto trying to extend a single into a double in the 8th inning when Bryce Harper and your most important pieces are supposed to come up to the plate. You got to be smart. Alec Bohm did the same thing today. You can't keep letting these things happen, and thank goodness that the Mets made more mistakes because the Phillies did capitalize on those. But against really good teams, the Phillies are going to have a tougher time doing that. And we've seen what they can do and what they should be able to do, just have not been able to see it on a night-to-night basis. I understand the frustration. I totally understand it, and it's all valid. Turner is still swinging and missing at pitches. Now, today he was really good. Trey Turner today did a really great job, and they don't win this game without Trey Turner. Okay, the RBI single, right? The home run in the first, the 2 stolen bases, and then coming in to score on the air. They don't win this game without Trey Turner. I do have to be honest from that perspective. But just from an overall sense, it has just not looked like what we expected it to be this season. They can still turn things around, but you guys do have a right to be frustrated with what they haven't been able to do because they can do it. They can. And they should. Back to the phones we go. Let's get FS Pod. He was on here as the third time, or as the third one. FS Podcast. What's going on? You're on the Phillies Post-Series Pod with JJ. Oh, your mic's muted. Yep, your mic's muted.
There we go.
There we go. What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm hanging in there, man. What do you have going on?
Not a whole lot. Just relaxing after a stressful series between the Rays and the Royals.
Yeah. Yeah, that must have been tough.
Mm-hmm. Splitting a 4-game set against yet another really bad team.
Yeah, that must have been really tough from that perspective. Did you get a chance to watch the Phillies game today and just the overall series?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. What were your overall thoughts about that?
I definitely think they had a lot of missed opportunities. They could have been better on bats, on fielding, all that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I do feel like that. Obviously, they have had some missed opportunities. Do you think that when they go to Chicago, that there are certain things that maybe Rob Thompson has to do differently, or do you think that also that the hitters have to change some certain ways about with their mechanics and when it comes to just hitting? Do you think that there should be improvement in that area as well?
Honestly, my honest opinion, I'd have to say there should be improvements in all departments, but I definitely think there should be a few things that Rob Thompson should change.
Like what?
I don't really know much in the way of mechanics, but
No worries, man. Do you think that you think that he should be able to like hold a leash on certain players, like when it comes to pitching a little bit longer, like Junior Marte or just other guys from the bullpen?
I think so.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Well, FS Pod, I really appreciate you for coming on here, man. You've definitely been always on the live streams and that type of thing, and I really can't thank you enough for the love and the support that you've given me. I'm gonna talk to you soon. All right?
Hey, for sure, man.
All right, sounds good. Peace out. All right. Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, before we go to our last caller, I just have to say that I am overall disappointed with how they played during this whole entire homestand. But hopefully the Phillies can just try to bounce back. I think that somebody said it, that Ranger has been their best pitcher. And I think that I actually feel like it's been safe to say that he has been their best pitcher overall. Zach Wheeler wasn't terrible today, but he could have been a lot sharper and should have been a lot sharper. And I thought that the fastballs at the end, like towards the third, fourth, and fifth inning, he was leaving pitches up in the zone. And while the bloop single by Pete Alonso was not his fault, what was his fault were the base hits that occurred before that. So he has to be better. And he's been really good as of lately. Don't get me wrong. I know he's not going to be perfect, but I thought that he could have had a better day at the office, and he did not. So, but he didn't get the loss, and the Phillies got the win. And now it's time to take our final caller. All right, we're going to invite Toxic Play to speak, and we'll have him come on here. What's up, Toxic Playboy? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great.
Nice. Were you able to watch the Phillies series?
Yeah, I loved it. Trey Turner was amazing.
He was, absolutely. Yeah. What would you say was? Oh wait, what did you say? Sorry.
I'm Philly Prods on the YouTube.
Oh, nice. Okay,
Yeah.
that's so cool, man. That's awesome. I really appreciate you for coming on here, man. Are you
Man,
Are you excited about the next series?
Yeah, we're gonna play the Cubs and Cody Bellinger.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be really nice, and I think it's going to be hopefully a really good series to come. Who's been your favorite pitcher this season so far, man? Did I lose you?
Suarez and Zach Wheeler.
Oh, yeah? You like Zach Wheeler?
Walker's been really good too. He has a record of 8-3.
Yeah, I know. I know, man. Taijuan Walker's been playing pretty well lately, and I thought he pitched really well on Friday night, dude.
Huh?
I just said that I thought he pitched really well on Friday night, Taijuan Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, dude, I appreciate you for coming on here. You know, it really means a lot. All right, I will talk to you later, okay?
Go Phillies!
Go Phillies! Yes! Let's go, baby. I like that. Okay, we had a little bit of some mixed emotions. You know, I kind of like that. I feel like that was really, really something. So, look, I'm a little down, but at the same time, I also understand that there's 163 games in the season, and I feel a little bit more optimistic about that. As weird as that sounds, I think that I just experienced a very weird vibe on this cast. You know, I was a little angry at some points. I was a little sad, and I was a little happy, and I was a little truthful, and that type of thing. But it is what it is, man. This Phillies team has just been. I think that that's actually a perfect way to describe how the Phillies have been doing this season. They've been a roller coaster, and there's no doubt about it. And the 2 weeks of great success that they did have, I think, has saved the season overall. But they had to win this game. They had to win this series. There was no doubt about it. But 2-3 on the homestand, unacceptable. They have to be better. All right. I love you guys so much, and I will catch you all on Tuesday night for the next Phillies game. We may or may not go on for a pod tomorrow. I am eventually going to come out with some Flyers content coming up this week. We have to talk about what's been going on with the Provorov trade and Kevin Hayes and all that sort of stuff. And then if Tobias Harris gets moved, we're going to have to wait on that to see what the Sixers get for him. And, yeah, man. All right, that's pretty much all she wrote for tonight. I love you all so much. Let me get to some comments really quickly because I did not get a chance to do that. Really quickly, let me do that. Corey Cooper says it was a sloppy game, but we just pulled it out. We can definitely turn things around. I agree with that statement for sure. Thompson does have to find a fifth starter for sure. Forget that bullpen 3 innings here and there. We do need a fifth starter. There's no doubt about it for sure. And Bryce and Trey, I feel like it has to be Bryce, Trey, and Schwarber that have to be the leaders of the team. So, but that's just my opinion. I love you guys so much. You guys are the best. I'm so happy that we reached 600 subscribers, man. It all starts from you guys, okay? You guys have really been incredible with this channel. You've been coming on a night-to-night basis, and you've been here to support me, and I'm not doing what I'm doing without you guys, and I really do mean that from the bottom of my heart. All right? Love you guys, and we'll catch you all on the next one. Peace.